Being too nice feels like the right move. You're polite. You agree. You don't create problems. You make things easy for people. And somehow, people still don't respect you. Worse, some start ignoring you. Some take advantage. Some stop taking you seriously. This video is uncomfortable, but stay till the end, because once you understand why this happens, you'll realize it's not bad luck. It's a hidden rule most people never see. Let's start with something that sounds unfair. People don't respect kindness. They respect boundaries. And when kindness has no boundaries, it stops being kindness. It turns into permission. Think about someone you know who's too nice. Always available. Always understanding. Always saying yes. Now be honest. Do people check with them before dumping work on them? Do people worry about disappointing them? Do people value their time? Usually no. Not because they're bad people, but because the signal being sent is clear. My needs come last. Here's the hidden rule. Niceness without limits signals low self-priority, and humans instinctively adjust their behavior based on perceived priority. Not consciously, automatically. You've probably seen this at work. Two people with the same skills. One is overly agreeable. The other is polite but firm. Who gets respected more? Not the louder one. Not the mean one. The one who can say no without explaining themselves. Most people confuse being nice with being liked. But liking and respect are not the same thing. People can like you and still walk all over you. Respect requires friction, at least a little. Let's talk about why this happens psychologically. When someone is always nice, always flexible, always accommodating, the brain stops registering cost. There's no consequence, no resistance. And without resistance, value drops. That's not opinion. That's how humans evaluate worth. Think about anything valuable. Time, money, opportunities. They all have limits. Unlimited things feel cheap. The same rule applies to behavior. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Being too nice often isn't kindness. It's fear. Fear of conflict. Fear of rejection. Fear of being disliked. So instead of choosing kindness, people choose safety. And safety doesn't command respect. You see this in conversations. Someone interrupts you. You let it slide. Someone crosses a boundary. You laugh it off. Someone disrespects your time. You say, no worries. Every time you do that, you teach people how to treat you. And here's the brutal truth. People don't test strong boundaries. They test soft ones. If you don't push back even once, the brain assumes you won't. This is why the nicest person in the room is often the least respected. Not because they're weak, but because they never show where the line is. Now let's clear something up. This is not about being rude. It's not about being aggressive. It's not about becoming cold or arrogant. Those are overcorrections. The goal isn't to stop being nice. The goal is to stop being harmless. There's a difference between kindness and submission. Kindness is chosen. Submission is automatic. People respect choice. They ignore habits. Watch how respected people behave. They're polite, but not available to everyone. They're kind, but not endlessly flexible. They help, but not at their own expense. And when something crosses a line, they address it calmly. No drama, no anger, no apology for having standards. That calm correction is powerful because it introduces consequence. And consequence creates respect. Here's where suspense kicks in. Most people think the solution is to be more confident or speak up more. That's vague. The real solution is simpler and harder. You have to be willing to disappoint people. Just a little. The moment you prioritize your comfort over their approval, everything shifts. People pause before asking you for favors. They listen more carefully when you speak. They stop assuming access to you. Here's a practical example. Someone asks you for something you don't want to do. The too nice response is, sure, no problem. The aggressive response is, no, that's stupid. The respected response is, I can't do that. And then silence. No long explanation. No guilt. No overjustifying. That silence is important. Because explaining too much turns a boundary into a negotiation. And boundaries aren't negotiations. Another example. Someone interrupts you repeatedly. Instead of pushing through or smiling, you pause and say, let me finish. Calm, neutral, direct, no anger. That one sentence does more than 10 minutes of being nice. Here's the part most people miss. You don't lose good people by setting boundaries. You lose people who benefited from you having none. And that's not a loss. Respect doesn't come from being agreeable. It comes from being predictable. predictable in your standards, predictable in what you allow, predictable in what you don't. When people know where the line is, they stop crossing it. When they don't, they keep testing. So here's the usable rule. Be kind, but not unlimited. Be polite, but not silent when crossed. Be helpful, but not available at all costs. Niceness should be a choice, not a reflex. The moment you stop being nice out of fear and start being kind out of strength, people feel it. They may not say it, but they adjust. Most people don't lose respect because they're bad. They lose respect because they never show what they stand for. Once you understand this rule, you'll notice something interesting. The most respected people in the room aren't the loudest. They're the ones who don't need approval to exist. Next time, I'll break down the rule that explains why people test you before they respect you. And once you see that one, you'll understand every disrespectful moment you've ever experienced.